Hello and welcome. We are now inside of Microsoft 365, and there are AI tools available to you that you can use in order to create content and use in your business. For example, if we go to Microsoft Clipchamp and we open up Clipchamp, depending on when you see this video, you'll typically see an element here that says create a video with AI. You'll also see an element here called text to speech. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see an element that says Upgrade. If you click that element, what you're going to notice is that Clipchamp is a premium subscription on top of whatever subscription you already have. So in other words, if you currently have a Microsoft 365 subscription, you do have access to the free plan. You don't have access to the premium plan. You may want to click this link to see what's available in the free plan for Microsoft Clipchamp. And as of the recording of this video, you'll see the pricing. The pricing may change by the time you see this video. However, the elements between free and premium are going to remain the same. So you're going to also see pages in Microsoft Clipchamp. In particular, you're going to see that one of the featured elements is AI video editing, and that AI video editing has several elements. And technically, some of these elements are not necessarily AI video editing, but just uses of AI here in this area. So we will begin to examine some of these features in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now, the verbiage used by Clipchamp for video editing is actually auto compose. And you're going to see it here in this button here on the front page. And we're going to click on auto compose. And you're going to see a dialog box. And in order to start the auto composition, you're going to give your video a title. And Microsoft Clipchamp will allow you to drag and drop or upload any media here so that the AI can use it to compose the actual video. Once you've added your media, you can then click Get Started. Now what's going to happen is that Clipchamp will then give you the opportunity to choose what the style will be. And so you can choose the style. And then you'll be asked whether you want your video to be landscaped or full length. You can choose it. Once you do that, you can then click Next. Clipchamp will give you the opportunity to add in music. You can select the music that you want. Once you've selected the music, you can either export the video or you can edit it in the timeline. Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to click Export. Once the video completes its rendering, you can then download it to your hard drive. And your first pass at a video will have been created using Auto Compose. Now, what you can do is edit that video going to this area, and we will look at that in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. We are now in the editing section of Microsoft Clipchamp. There are several elements we can use the AI in order to add to our video. For example, if we go to the Record and Create area, you're going to see that we can add in text to speech. What we can do is we can then listen to a voice that we want to read our text.
Choose from a variety of voices to help you create a story worth sharing.
And then we can write in our text so that it will play during our video. You can then play the video with your text to speech.
Creating video tutorials is a great way to meet friends and generate income. Create positive moments for people that want to hear it.
So as you can see, we can play our video and we can add in text to speech to the video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Microsoft Clipchamp does have a screen sharing facility as well as a camera and or screen sharing. And you can create these elements to place them inside of your video. And once you have placed them in, what you can do is you can auto caption what it is you create. Now, as you can see here, we've added an audio clip here in this area. And what we can do inside of Clipchamp is we can go to the Captions tab and we can turn on auto captions. We're going to click Transcribe Media. Clipchamp will produce a caption file that you can download, and it will also, in this right side panel, provide the transcript for any audio or video that you have spoken into the edit for your video. So you can use the AI elements inside of Clipchamp in order to transcribe anything that you create, whether it is audio or video, generated from your camera and your microphone. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you are going to be using the screen sharing or the camera, what you'll notice when you are recording is that Microsoft Clipchamp has an area here called Speaker Coach. You can turn that element on, and basically, as you record, the Speaker Coach will be giving you suggestions on how you can improve what it is that you are recording. Now, for the sake of this video, the camera is being grayed out. However, we can turn on the camera as if it were on, and we can turn the Speaker Coach on. What we're going to do here is we're going to click on Turn on Speaker Coach. So now Speaker Coach is now turned on. What we are now going to do is we're going to click Enter, and we're going to record some video/audio. Recording video tutorials is fun. Recording video tutorials will give you the ability to reach your customer effectively. And once you have completed your video, you can click Review Speech, and the Speaker Coach will give you hints on how you can improve what it is that you are doing. So before you deliver your actual presentation in your video, it's a good idea to use Clipchamp with the Speaker Coach to determine how you can improve. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, the Speaker Coach is also available inside of Microsoft PowerPoint. And if you go to the slideshow area, what you'll see here is that you can go here to this area and this button that says to rehearse with Coach. If you click on that button, then you can allow your microphone to be used. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go through your presentation. And then Microsoft Speaker Coach is going to interact with you in real time. So we're going to allow our microphone to be used, and we're going to go through aspects of our presentation, and we're going to do it so that Microsoft Speaker Coach can work with us to improve our presentation skills. What is Microsoft Copilot Pro, and how can a solopreneur use it? Streamline your daily tasks. Microsoft Copilot Pro can help you manage your daily tasks by providing an overview for the pending task of the day. So as you can see, Microsoft Speaker Coach will allow you to improve your speaking skills in real time. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Microsoft does have AI tools available inside of Microsoft Designer. And if you go inside of Microsoft Designer within Microsoft 365, the platform is not necessarily powered with Microsoft Copilot. However, it does have AI tools within it. What you can do is you can use prompts in order to create within Microsoft Designer. And basically what you're doing is you're creating promotional materials with Microsoft Designer. Now, if you have projects available, you can click inside of My Projects. If you don't, you should see a button here that says New Project. You're going to click that button. That's going to give you the Microsoft Designer interface. And basically, what you're going to do here is you're going to write in a prompt in order to create the promotional materials that you want to create. And you can add in media to the prompt. And we're going to add this media from our device, although we can add the media from our mobile device. And now that we have all of our content, we can then click Generate. And what Microsoft Designer will then do is it will seek to generate designs based on what we have given it in order to assist us. And then you'll see what Microsoft Designer came up with here in this area. We can create the size, and you can scroll down to see more iterations. The Microsoft Designer will then suggest a prompt to us. So we're going to go ahead and use the prompt that it suggests to us, and we're going to click Generate. We can then determine the size that we want, and then Microsoft Designer will readjust in order to give us the size that we want. So you can use Microsoft Designer with a prompt in order to create the element that you want for your promotional content. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, you can also start with generating an image for the promotional material that you want to create. And you're going to see this area here. What we're going to do is we're going to write in what we want to create. And we're going to start by clicking Generate Image. And we are going to write in the image that we want to create. And once we have determined what we want our image to be, we'll then click this arrow and we'll wait for Designer to generate the image. We can select an image, and then once we have our image, we can actually go and then create another image. So we can click Generate Image. And once we have what we want in mind, we can then click the arrow, and then Microsoft Designer will begin the process of creating an image that we're going to use in our promotional materials. And we can select our image. And so once we have all of our images, what we can do is we can then generate what we want to generate. And then Microsoft Designer will use the images that we have generated here inside of it in order to create our promotional materials. We can determine what size that we actually want. And so if we want a landscape and we have our element here, we can select the element and then we can customize the design. And so we can customize the design in terms of text. We can customize the design in terms of different ideas, and you'll see them here. And so basically, you have an element that you can use as a template based on images that you generated using Microsoft Designer. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Microsoft Designer will help you to build a brand kit. And you're going to see this element here in this area once you have a design open. And if you click on Brand Kit, that's going to open up a tab on the left side. You're going to see an element here if you've not yet created a brand kit. You can use AI suggestions in order to create a brand kit. We're going to click Get Started. What we're then going to do is we're going to create a specific brand name. Once you've written in the information, you can then click Generate. And then Microsoft Designer will attempt to generate a brand kit for you to use inside of Microsoft Designer. And the process does take some time to generate. One thing you're going to want to be aware of are the terms of use. And you'll notice here, you're agreeing to use the things that you're creating inside of Microsoft Designer in terms of the brand kit for non-business use only. So that's going to be one important element that you want to be aware of when you're going to create a brand kit for use inside of Microsoft Designer. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, as of the recording of this video, Microsoft Designer is free to use. However, it is in preview mode. And so what that means is that it's important to read the terms of use before you begin to use it in any specific way. If you click on terms of use as of the recording of this session, one of the things that you're going to note is that you're agreeing that you're going to be using Designer for personal use only and not for the use in the course of trade or commerce. And this statement was generated as of December 1st, 2023. So depending on how you intend to use Microsoft Designer and the artificial intelligence in it, you will want to watch the terms of service and when they change. It's very likely that Microsoft Designer will eventually become a paid application and come out of preview mode. When that is the case, then it's quite possible that Microsoft Designer will be available then for use with your business. But for now, you may want to keep track of how to use it and watch for the case when it is available for business use. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You are now looking at an email that has been opened inside of Microsoft Outlook. And what you'll see here inside of the email is there is a section now that allows you to summarize the email with Copilot. And so all you'll need to do is to click on the top of the summary, and then Microsoft Copilot will start the process of looking to summarize your email. And you can do this with any email within your inbox. And you'll see the summary here. Typically, what you can do is you can either upvote or downvote the summary, and you can provide feedback to Microsoft. And you'll see that it will work with just about any email that you have in your box that you received in Outlook. And again, all you'll need to do is to click the summary button, and then Microsoft Outlook will generate a summary using Copilot. And so typically what you'll want to do is you'll want to check the summary against the actual content in the email so that you can continue to upvote or downvote the accuracy of the summary as you see it. There are some emails that Microsoft Copilot will not summarize. For example, you'll see that there is a specific email here, and this email was not summarized by Microsoft Copilot. So it's a good idea not to rely on the summary, but to use it as an additional tool in becoming more productive in understanding what you are reading. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We are now inside of Microsoft Outlook, and we can use Microsoft Copilot to help us to draft our emails. To do that, we're going to go to this Copilot element, and we're going to click on Draft with Copilot. And once you have the dialog box inside of your area, you will then want to write in how you want to draft the email. So what we have done is we have drafted what we want to have in the email. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click the Generate button, and we're going to allow Outlook to generate a draft. You can determine if you like it. You can also determine to keep what you have. You can delete it altogether, or you can regenerate it based on something that you want to change. So for example, you can write in here what you want to change. And once we have what we want to change, we're going to click the arrow, and then Microsoft Copilot will consider what it is that we have, and it will generate another draft. And once again, if you don't like that draft, but you like the content, you can click Regenerate based on that draft, and Microsoft Copilot will redo the draft. So you can use Microsoft Copilot inside of Microsoft Outlook to help you to draft appropriate emails. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, the first part of our live example, we're going to start with an existing document. And one of the things that you can do with an existing document is you can use the AI tool called Editor for your proofreading. And typically, you will see here in the right side menu that you'll have editor suggestions. And if you don't see them, what you can do is you can go to this area and you can click on the editor, and then the editor will pull open a sidebar. Now, this is more than just spelling and grammar. What the editor is attempting to do is to help you in other areas. As you can see here, the areas that are listed include clarity, conciseness, formality, inclusiveness, perspectives, punctuation, geopolitics, and then vocabulary. What you'll want to do with your document is you'll first want to determine what kind of evaluation that you want. If you change this to a casual tone, you will see the editor score change. If you change this back to a formal tone, you will see the editor score change again. And so the editor is trying to assess what kind of evaluation that you want Microsoft Word to give your document. And so it's a good idea to always save a separate copy of your document. Once we've saved our separate copy, and we have determined what kind of evaluation that we want, we can then begin to make changes based on those elements. And you can begin to make your changes one by one. And once you've completed all the elements, Microsoft Word will give you a perfect score in terms of evaluating your document against the standards for the style that you have chosen. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. On this live example, what we're going to do, we're going to insert examples in specific places inside of our document. So what we're going to do here is we're going to then place our cursor here. We're then going to click enter. You'll see there that we have our draft with Copilot. We're going to click on draft with Copilot. And what we're now going to do is we're going to ask Copilot to create an example for the first two paragraphs for the preceding section. What we will now do is we will click generate. And we will expect that Microsoft Copilot will then write our example. We can refine this example, but for the sake of this video, we're going to keep that example. We're then going to accept the changes. You're going to notice here that this document has a blue diamond. We can click on top of that blue diamond. And what you'll notice here is that what we can do is we can add some kind of visual emphasis to specific text. For example, if you want to have a pull quote of some kind, you can do it. And we're just going to accept the change. What we're now going to do is we're going to go to another section of our document, and we're going to ask Microsoft Copilot to write in an example. And we're going to click generate. And we expect that Microsoft Copilot will then provide an example as we have asked it to do. And for the sake of this example, we're going to keep it, and we're going to close up our gap. What we now want to do is we may want to have Microsoft Copilot to rewrite a section. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to highlight the entire section. We're going to click on Microsoft Copilot, and we're going to ask Microsoft Copilot to rewrite this section. And we will get Microsoft Copilot to rewrite a section of our document. We can either have Microsoft Copilot to insert the content or to just replace what we've asked it to replace. And we're going to replace our content. So basically now what is going to be a new document. What we can now do is we can reevaluate our document based on a new standard. And you'll see now that Microsoft Copilot will then reevaluate our document based on this new standard. And of course, we would then make any necessary changes in order to get our document to be the best that it can in terms of the style that we have chosen. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. What we can now do is we can open the Copilot sidebar. And what we can do is we can first summarize the entire document. And we're going to ask Copilot to summarize our document. Now, because we're going to reuse this summary, we want to make the summary shorter. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make a shorter summary. And once more, we're going to make the summary shorter again. And so now that we have our shorter summary, we're going to copy it, and we're going to leave it in the clipboard. And we're going to keep it because we're going to be using it inside of another application. What we can do now is we can make changes to the appearance of the document. And we can do that with the Designer tab inside of the document, where we are not restricted to use our changes for non-commercial use. Because this is a paid application, we can expect that we will be able to use any changes or designs in our for-profit work. We're going to go to the Designer area. What we're going to do here is we're going to click Designer. That's going to open up a different panel. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to choose which elements we want to see. If we don't see the pattern that we like, we can choose more themes. And once we feel that we have the right pattern, we can select it, and then Microsoft Copilot will make the changes in the document. If we like the changes, we can keep them. If not, we can go back, we can undo the changes, and we can look for the template that we like. And once we have the template that we like, we're now ready to save the final copy of the document. However, we do have our summary in our clipboard, and we will be using it in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now, for this part of our live example, we're going to take the second part of our document. We're going to work with Copilot, but what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite the entire document. And part of the document, we're going to turn into a table. We're going to take these elements that are bullet points. We're going to highlight them. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Copilot. And you're going to notice here that there's one element that says visualize as a table. So in this part, we're going to visualize this part as a table. And so we're going to give Microsoft Copilot the opportunity to turn this information that we have here into a more visual element. And we're going to keep this element. And we're going to delete the other information. We're then going to go to the other elements that are in bullet points. We're going to highlight them. We're going to click on Microsoft Copilot, and we're going to visualize this as a table. And then we are going to delete the other information. What we are then going to do is we are going to rewrite all of the other information. So we're going to take this information and we're going to ask Copilot to rewrite this information. And we're going to replace the information that we have. And for the rest of the document, we're going to leave it. But the primary importance in this video was organizing information into tables and having it in our document and using Microsoft Copilot in order to do it. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. For this part of the live example, we are now inside of Microsoft PowerPoint, and inside of our blank presentation, we're going to go directly to Microsoft Copilot. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Create a Presentation. We're going to cut and paste into the prompt area our summary. So we're going to edit it and make sure that we have in there the main ideas from our summary. What we are then going to do is we're going to click on the Send button, and then we will allow Microsoft PowerPoint to write our presentation. What you'll notice now is that Microsoft PowerPoint really does not have the proper context for our summary. So we've made some changes to the prompt, and we're now going to click Send, and we're going to ask Microsoft PowerPoint to write our presentation. And Microsoft PowerPoint has completed our presentation. We can go back to Copilot, and we can add in a slide about something else if we want to do it, or we can just ask a question about the presentation. And again, in order to determine what we can do with Copilot, all we would need to do is to go to the prompts area, view more prompts, and then we'd be able to see what else we would be able to do. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, currently, the document we have is about 6,000 words and about 10 single-spaced pages. And typically, what we would do is we would take one section at a time to do the entire rewrite of this transcript. However, what we want to do in this video is test the limits of Microsoft Copilot. We want to select all the text, and then we want to give it over to Microsoft Copilot in order to rewrite all of it. So in order to do that, what we're going to do, we are then going to select all. We're then going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and we do see Microsoft Copilot there at the very bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Copilot to rewrite the entire document. So we're going to stop the video here, and we're going to pick it up from Microsoft Copilot in its completed work. So what we discover is that we encountered several errors on both the desktop as well as in the web, and the final error, Copilot tells us that we have selected more content than Copilot can generate a rewrite for. So in order to continue forward, we would have to select less content than the 6,500 words and the 10 pages. Now, according to Copilot, a single prompt is limited to between 18,000 to 20,000 words. However, the content that we attempted to rewrite was actually less than that. So you'll need to be mindful of this fact when you are attempting to rewrite entire documents, since there is no definitive answer published by Microsoft and agreed upon in all places. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to open up an audio transcript into Microsoft Word. Now, we're going to grab that transcript from our hard drive and open it up in our Word application. Once we have the document open, we're going to go to Copilot. So Copilot does understand what the document is about. So what we want to do is we want to now rewrite the document, even though it's a transcript, so that it makes sense. So we're going to highlight the entire first page. And what we want Copilot to do is we want Copilot to now rewrite this information. And so Copilot is going to take a shot at rewriting the document. And we're going to replace the entire first page with the page that Copilot has written. So what you will notice is that Copilot did clean up some of the language which sounded much like a transcript and gave it a more sensible feel. What we could now do is we could take this paragraph and we could write it over formally. We're going to undertake that process in the next video and test the limits of Copilot. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. In conclusion, Microsoft currently makes a number of its AI tools available through Microsoft Create, and you can find it at create.microsoft.com. It's a template-based application and gives you access to templates for Clipchamp, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Forms, and Microsoft Designer. However, as is the case with other applications, currently the terms of use of these tools are personal and non-commercial. Now again, it is very possible that these tools will eventually be made available for business use. And additionally, much has to do with all of these tools being free of charge and in preview mode. While they may be rolled into current products that are part of paid suite, it's possible that they could be made part of a paid upgrade like Microsoft Clipchamp. But this is something that you will want to watch if you intend to use Microsoft AI tools in your business. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.